What's up? Thanks for coming back through. We got a great one and a cool story on how I got this shoe, and I do believe I found a limited edition when I wasn't supposed to find it. Today, let's talk about the Nike Zoom Fly 5. Chinese New Year, maybe? Okay, so I'm at my local retailer, Shields. Once again, shouts out to the crew. They have a great selection, style, fashion, casual, performance. So I was going in, I wanted to test out these shoes. I'm checking out all the retailers in town, trying to see if anybody carried the Zoom Fly 5. A few of them disappointed me greatly, but Shields had it. But they had it in this colorway. I'm like, huh. Boop, radar went off. I said, okay, let me try this shoe. They go in the back and get it. I immediately sit down and I start going through my normal checks because they will price check, they will price match, they will offer any discounts or whatever. And also I like to see what I'm getting if it looks a little different. So I check Nike.com. This shoe does not show up. I check eBay. This shoe shows up as shipping from Taiwan. I then turn off my location, do a Google search so it can't pin me down, and I do a Nike search for Nike Asia. I get Malaysia, I get Philippines, I get some hits for Australia, Oceania. Did I just stumble upon a special edition? So then they bring the shoe out, I look inside, and there's rabbits all over this thin Zoom insole. Rabbits with a jersey that says 72, which is the year Nike started. But why rabbits? So immediately I start connecting the dots. I do a Google search for Chinese New Year. And 2023, you guessed it, is the year of the rabbit. Ha! So I think I stumbled upon a Chinese New Year special edition. Now, the Chinese New Year shoes often come out, some to fanfare, some kind of trickle out. In a performance-related shoe, a lot of times they'll trickle out because it's not quite hit the style quotient yet. It's still meant for performance. But we'll get into that about this shoe because this shoe has gotten some shade from the running elite, and there is elitism in shoes. That's what happened to this shoe. Now, where's it at? I have the original Zoom Fly. I was actually in Sweden when I picked this joker up. Loved it. Still love it to this day. Still got it to this day. But you will see that quite a bit has changed about the Zoom Fly. Now, all the way up to the 4, these things had React in them. They've gotten away from that new cushioning system. In this shoe, you're going to find a special midsole, which has 2 different types of cushioning, and I think that's what threw everybody. Performance-wise, this shoe is a little heavier, but not bad. It's bulky, it's big, but not unlike any other kind of overstacked super shoe. It does have a carbon fiber plate. It's got Zoom cushioning, but it's got that crushed up Zoom that was in like the Alpha Fly Nature and the Pegasus Nature. But I didn't hate it like other people did. Again, because of, I think, the more democratic nature of what Nike does with their shoes. Now, this doesn't happen just in running. This happens when, way back in the day in 89, I grew up in the 80s and early 90s. Everybody wanted Jordans. But if you couldn't get the Jordan, you got the Flight 89. The Flight 89 was a teardown of their top-end shoe. And so on and so forth, things went down. They're still doing that to this day. The earlier models that come out are the super shoes. The later models that come out are more pedestrian. They're more for everybody because everybody is not an elite marathoner. Everybody is not going to go set a world record in these shoes. So what ends up happening is the shoe gets less specialized and your elite runners or your pure road racers and athletes will start to balk at what the shoe has become. But Nike doesn't care because they're making more money because the shoe is more democratic now. Okay, enough about that. Let's talk upper. Upper is a really light open air mesh. The nylon is super, super open. The look and feel of Atom knit, but it's not knit, it's actually a mesh, but it has that feel. You got the big old Nike swoosh sitting up there, colorful, matching with the other side. And then there's fused pieces under the mesh versus on top. Now, I've seen them on top before, and maybe it's because this is a limited edition, but the fusing is underneath now. And so you've got things holding the shoe together and giving it structure from underneath, a little bit of color. Got the old school gilly lacing system they brought back. This is probably one of their dopest lacing systems. I don't too much mind this older technology because it just works. And it works to snug the foot by pulling on the outside of the shoe, and there's usually a layer flapped under that's closer to your foot. It's great support. Flat laces, padded tongue, really padded collar. I like this shoe. I don't really understand all the hate that this shoe is getting. I like the shoe very much. Let's go into the midsole, which is why I think it's getting some shade. We have this, which looks like the old React, but it is much, much softer. Now, they tell you that there's Zoom X in the shoe, but that's not Zoom X. Don't be fooled. This is a new carrier foam called SR02, which I would say is somewhere between Zoom and their old Phylon midsole. I forget what they were calling it, but anyway, it's softer than React. It breaks in quicker than React. You can already see the creasing that I'm getting, which I don't mind. It's a functional shoe. You're going to get some midsole creasing. But here's the trick. The core of the shoe is actually Zoom X. Now, it says Zoom X on it right there. That's actually just the internal guts of the shoe, which you can see right there. This midsole is a 2-piece midsole. Actually, it's a 3-piece midsole. But that Zoom X inside is being carried by the SR02. Now, that gives it a little more structure. Zoom X is actually super soft, and unless you have a really thick stack of it, it can be a little bit unstable. That stabilizes the shoe. I can tell you this shoe is very stable. The carrier foam itself is soft, but I'm not sure how much you're on it unless you hit the outer rim of the shoe. The core is Zoom X, and all of that is trapping a carbon fiber plate. So, again, the democracy of shoe releases later in the line. It's more democratic. You're getting the top end stuff. You're getting a carbon fiber plate. You're getting Zoom X, all in a shoe that runs around $150 to $170 US. That's kind of major. It's a directional outsole. It can have some grip on concrete, maybe gym floors, but like I was on equipment this morning. I was on an elliptical this morning, and it was a little bit slick on the pedals. So you might have to be careful about that. It needs to wear down a bit to get grippy. So go ahead and put some wear into it. I'm going to wear it fashionably because it's a dope looking shoe. And if indeed it is the Chinese New Year, year of the rabbit, well, then I'm a happy camper and I came up. Can't be mad at that, right? The Nike Zoom Fly 5. I'm going to go ahead and call it the Chinese New Year. Hey! Thanks for coming through. Stick with me. There'll be more. I appreciate you. Peace.